1.7 ARR in 1.5 years sounds like magic. You only get these numbers if you really solve for real business problems. These are the challenges in hospitality industry as we know and then today. Digitization, yes, might help, but we often see is exactly that. Completely fragmented tech stack, a little bit of PMS, access solution, messaging, but you have three key challenges with that. First of all, how do you know if this always works? And second of all, how do you know when it doesn't work, and how can you then still help your guests on the digital journey? And where's the data? If you digitize in this way, you have no good answers on any of these three questions, and as a hotelier, you are actually screwed. So I think many hoteliers actually digitize in that way. That's why we don't do it this way, we do it that way. With like magic in the middle connects the front ends of your guests, the digital guest journey, an employee solution on the left-hand side, and basically connects it to all the other systems on the right-hand side. Multiple PMSs, access solution, messaging solutions. It gives you two strategic advantages. Advantage number one, you know what is happening. You're in charge of your processes. Advantage number two, you have all the data. Let's put this in solutions. Basically, guests have a seamless little journey. It's just a link. You don't need to download anything. Employees have a one-stop solution. They can basically do 90% of their daily tasks, and this is trained in 4 hours. And operators of hotels basically have holistic guest profiles. We monitor all their business critical processes and technology 24/7. We can do the alerting, and on top of that, they get a booking engine. Now let's put this into the tech stack. So that's basically how the tech stack looks like. I think on the left-hand side, you see all these applications that we have built on our own for guests, employees, and operators. Then we connect them through our platform like magic to the ecosystem, multiple PMSs, messaging solution, AI solutions, and even digital keys. With this, you have full control of your processes and you have all the data. Actually, in Singapore, we'll show you how with this, and it's all about data, how we really generate value, actually with AI and on the ESG side. Now, let me show you some of the impact that we create for our customers, more than 60 customers now in DACH and in Australia. Shani Hotel in Jena, basically Christian Müller, took the self-check-in checkout rate from 8 to 80%. And actually the review score went from 4 to 5. Dominic Klein, with a property of 8 properties, saves 600,000 per year. And Otto Lindner basically operates his hotels with 80% of less staff with still great review. Not only do we create great value for our guests, for our customers, also leading industry experts actually like us. So Lou summarized this quite nicely, and we win awards. So how do we earn money? We basically have a setup fee and a subscription fee per month per room. So by 2032, we basically live in 90,000 rooms, Northern Europe and Australia, 21 million EBITDA. And basically by Q2 26, we are profitable. Who is the team behind it? It's basically key 6 people. We have Cyril and Ravi, basically head engineering, and the CTO. These guys have built solutions for the largest bank, UBS, and the largest insurance company, AXA. Basically, Antonia joined us from a unicorn, from Muse. I think this tells a story as well. Kevin has worked for the largest media companies in Switzerland. And Savino and myself actually have worked for the largest credit card issuer in Switzerland, then moved into hospitality. The team is 22 FTEs big. We're basically Swiss-based, founded in 23, but the solution is actually, however, ready since 3.5 years. How's that? Well, we've actually initially developed like magic to run our mother company's award-winning hotel, Stay Cook. So we really know how to basically, because we use that software to run these properties ourselves. So we know about the challenges and we find all solutions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Marcus. We'll bring our judges up. Karen, Min, Bobby, audience behind the scenes. Who'd like to kick us off with the first question?
Can I start?
Go ahead, Bobby.
Okay, great. Marcus, very interesting. I have one very direct question. Who is in charge of all the API connection with all the service provider? Is it the hotel or is it like magic?
It's us.
So you are basically already connected with all the provider we showed on the slide.
Yes, we basically created a type of middleware that we basically then tell how is a PMS integrated, how is an access solution integrated, how is the smart room solution integrated. So we actually created that contract. The beauty of this is we can then plug, the stuff I've shown you basically on the right-hand side, plug them very easily, and we get all the data points. And it doesn't affect our digital guest journey, and it doesn't affect our employee solution. And that gives us peace, and it's hugely powerful. On top of that, you get all the data.
And where is it hosted? Is it hosted on your servers or on the server of the client?
No, we basically host in Google Cloud in Switzerland right now, but I think, KPIX basically can host anywhere, right?
Okay, one last question on my side. If I recall well, you said that you will be EBITDA positive in 2026. The main question I have is what are the costs that prevent you from being already profitable with roughly 2 million in IRR, especially if all the API connection are already up and running?
Yes, look, I think it's a very good question. I think it probably has to do with our origin, I think, some of the team that you have seen, I think the majority are Swiss-based. I think that has to do also on the cost structure.
So they're very expensive. That's what you want to say?
I wouldn't say we're very expensive. We're very experienced. You don't get this experience for basically for peanuts, right? That's how you can actually can create great systems, right?
So most of the cost that you carry now are for employees.
Indeed, it's employee and cloud consumption. These are two of our main cost components at the moment.
Okay, Karen or Min, do either of you have any questions that you'd like to ask of Marcus?
Yeah,
I do actually.
Oh, sorry.
Karen, go ahead, and then Min, you can.
Okay. You said there's 3 components that you look at, and one element was around the booking platform. Are hotels able to pick which of those 3 they want to have? Because with my travel leader of big corporate head on, we don't want to encourage direct bookings. So is that piece able to be taken out, or do you have to get everything?
No, I think if you go for a all-in-one thing, then you're not going to be successful. You need to be modular, but there are elements who really are tightly together, like the guest and the employee journey are tightly integrated together. That's where the value is. The booking engine will be fairly flexible, and I think you're open to use, but I can tell you because the booking engine, multi-property, multi-brand, it's tightly integrated in digital guest journey. It's hugely powerful, and we see a lot of uptake on the conversion if they use our solution.
Min, if you'd like to ask a quick question, and then we'll start off the next session with you, Min.
Sure.
Do you have a quick one, or are you okay?
Oh yeah, just quick one. Maybe what is your ideal customer profile? Is it about, independent hotels, chains, or service apartments? What's your focus there?
Look, I think the great thing is basically everybody there wants digital check-in, check-out, digital services. The ideal customer profile who get the best business case out of that is service departments. Limited service, high degree of automation, they can leverage the solution to the fullest, right? But all the other hotels, I think they still have segments. They actually want that digital check-in, check-out, additional services. So we can provide that.
All right, thanks very much, Marcus. Thank you, judges. Please go ahead and submit your scores. We have our next Seedup for Europe in Nick Castriati, CEO and co-founder of Trapi. Nick, please bring up your presentation and your video. And as soon as you're ready, we'll put 5 minutes on the clock so that you can do your presentation.
Perfect, thank you. Can you see my screen?
We can.
Perfect. Meet Trapi.
Sorry, 1 second, Bobby and Karen, if you don't mind taking your video down while Nick presents. Thank you.
Meet Trapi, where we're fixing the fragmented travel tech industry. I'm Nick, the CEO and co-founder of Trapi, and I met Josh playing football in Haggerston Park, and our love for playing football translated into love for starting travel tech businesses, where in the heart of COVID, we started our first startup, which was AmigoGo, was a B2C mobile app that helped solve the pains and aches of planning trips with friends and family. In that time frame, we actually learned the pain points of that Trapi solves for today. So in this scenario, I wanted you to meet our previous startup, AmigoGo, to understand our customer profile. So meet AmigoGo. AmigoGo's business was centered around selling flights and hotels. And there's over 200,000 businesses online that sell travel online today, globally. Their backlog was inundated with third-party API integrations, like we saw in the previous pitch, to offer better content, better functionality to the travelers. But every API integration on average takes 3 months and 20,000 pounds in sunk costs. And there's over 2,000 APIs out in travel tech alone. So how are the AmigoGos of this world supposed to scale? Well, now let's look at the flip side. Let's look at API providers like Duffel and Travelport. Completely different in their business, their approach, their APIs, and their tech. But they share one similarity: their leakage and their customer acquisition and onboarding cost. So let's look at those. From a leakage standpoint, it takes months to onboard and activate customers. So they're losing months of lost revenue in that time frame. On top of that, there's a huge customer acquisition and onboarding cost because they're hand-holding each and every customer through that integration timeline. And as you can see, there's a similarity in the millions of cost to onboards and in leakage in the millions per year for these API providers. So where does Trapi sit? Well, Trapi is a travel API marketplace that enables travel sellers like AmigoGo was to integrate with complex travel APIs like Duffel and Travelport in minutes instead of weeks and months. And we do so using AI in the background. However, Trapi is not an aggregator. We do not have an API. We are not in the distribution game. We are in the code generation game. What does that mean? Okay, well, meet Jack, and we will go through a real life scenario. Jack is a software engineer at AmigoGo, and he's tasked to, he handles all the API integrations. And today he's tasked to integrate with, let's say, Duffel API, which sells flights for. So he goes into Trapi and he selects the Duffel API. Within there, he can customize all the capabilities and endpoints he wants to consume. Let's go for search and book, pretty simple. On top of that, he can also customize the request and response fields. These are the elements, the fields that will be displayed in AmigoGo's UI. Once that's done, he connects his GitHub repository and files. This is where Trapi's generated code will end up in at the end of this process. And the last manual step for Jack is just to select the front and back end tech frameworks that he uses today. Once that's done, Trapi uses AI to automate the integration, not just for the back end, but also for the front end. And in just a couple of minutes, Jack gets a new code branch available in his GitHub. And in a few seconds on top of that, he can start to see Duffel content flowing through his UI. So with that being said, we've now partnered with 16 API providers to add to our marketplace, as the likes of Hotel Beds, OAG, Choose and Squake, and more, to help their onboarding customers integrate with those APIs in minutes instead of weeks and months. And based on that bottom-up approach, we see a TAM for Trapi of 4 billion in annual revenues per year. We are actively looking for funding at 1 million at a 4 million pre-money valuation. And this is largely for two parts. The product, so the API marketplace, so we in the next 12 to 18 months want to get to at least 100 APIs in our marketplace. But secondly, we need to progress our products in various stages in the end-to-end customization of that API integration timeline. For example, a customer has a caching database. We need to be able to align with a travel seller's internal systems and applications. On top of that, we also want to look at the post-integration efforts. So with a travel seller that has 20, 30, 40, 50 plus APIs integrated to, staying up to date on version upgrades is a nightmare. So those are the key components that we want to focus on in the next 12 to 18 months. Thank you so much for listening to the pitch. I'll now open it up for questions.
Thanks, Nick. All right, Karen, Min, and Bobby, come on up. Min, I'd like to kick off with you, if you don't mind, if you've got a question for Nick.
Yeah, sure. Maybe first of all, I want to understand better your product. So besides the time and dollar savings, how do you compare the quality of API integration to the markets? It just question of time and money?
Yeah, absolutely. So today it takes us about 2 to 4 weeks to onboard an API provider, and we do so in partnership with the likes of hotel beds, where we get access to the API keys and we train our AI models and AI agents to actually run through the integration and make sure that 100% of the time we are providing quality codes for customers to come.
Okay. My second question is regarding, you said that you're going to onboard maybe 100 more API providers. So would you have a kind of criteria selection for them? So whether it is in a certain market segment, so that you will have network effect, or you're agnostic?
Absolutely. And this has been the crucial starting point for us. If you saw the initial API providers we have, they're in different verticals because we want to at least get one in each vertical. So Widgety for cruises, Simtex for eSIMs, Duffel for flights, hotel beds for hotels, because it's a tight-knit circle. So as soon as we partnered with hotel beds, RateHawk and others have started to come and approach us. So our approach is that, but on top of that, we want to make sure that our initial MVP, ICP are the Amigos of the world. Early bootstrap startups that can't afford 3 months integration timelines. So we want to approach more so the self-serve APIs like Duffel and hotel beds, et cetera, et cetera.
Karen, do you have a question for Nick?
I do, yeah. I'm still trying to figure out in my head who the customer is. So you get all of these APIs there, that's great. But then who's the customer? Who's going to be grabbing all of this?
Sure, absolutely. It's anyone who sells travel online. So from our starting point is the Amigos of the world. Startup travel selling businesses that are trying to get up and running, selling flights, hotels, whatever content. But in the future, you can think of corporate booking tools, TMCs that have their own booking tools, any tour operators, anyone who sells travel online, really.
Bobby,
for me, that's the biggest market opportunity here, actually, to infiltrate more quickly in the corporate world, because
absolutely,
that's where the big gap is, candidly.
For sure. When you look at the NDC, where NDC is and where it's going, I mean, our thesis is that over the next decades, corporate and leisure, startups like AmigoGo, from the get-go are going to have to integrate with hundreds of APIs. So with it taking 3 to 6 months, what's the end game for? How do front-end UI travel selling businesses scale?
Yeah.
All right, Bobby, we'll kick off with you with first question on the next one.
It's okay, Karen will ask it for me. So it's all clear. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Thanks very much. All right. Next up, we have Roland Verham from Expect Me. Roland, welcome. Bring up your
Hello, everyone.
Hi. We'll put 5 minutes on the clock, and as soon as you start talking, it will start to go down. All right.
Yeah, perfect. Let me know if you can see my screen.
We can. Go ahead.
All right, perfect. So hi, everyone. My name is Roland, and hospitality has been my passion for years. So that's why I started my career working within hotels myself, starting behind the reception desk and then moving up. And then currently, I'm the founder and CEO of Expect Me. And Expect Me, it's a very unique room selection platform, and I will tell you obviously more about it in a second. But let's first look at the reason why we started Expect Me. I'm quite sure that we're all familiar with the fact that whenever we are making a hotel booking, there's a certain expectation created towards you as a hotel guest from the room that you will get allocated. However, in reality, that expectation is not always met. I mean, we are all personalities, we all have our own preferences, and it's very hard for the hoteliers to meet those preferences. For example, it can be that you want to be on a high floor, you would like to be close to an elevator, you would like to have a low floor, quiet room, whatever. Now, the room allocation part from a hotel's perspective is also quite challenging because there's a lack of transparency and personalization, which also creates a huge impact on the operational efficiency from an allocation point of view for hotels, and also missed revenue opportunities because hotels quite often give away just free upgrades to monetize and update their room inventory. Now, we have drawn inspiration from other industries out there, from theaters, cruises, aviation, obviously, where we are used to seat selection before your departure. And that's what we are doing with Expect Me. So we are driving room selection for the hotel industry prior to arrival. And hotel industry is, of course, very different than aviation, etc. But we have made it work for hotels so that they can focus on personalizing the guest experience, maximizing the profitability, and improve, obviously, operational efficiency. And I would just like to give you a quick preview from how the platform reacts, because we let the guests select any features that they would like, and then they will see the platform based on real-time room availability with Google Maps integration on the back end. And guests can play around with all the available rooms. They can check out any rich content that has been provided. And rich content is based out of room images, can be also category images, descriptions, and if the hotel also has, for example, 360 videos, or think about nowadays more and more those poly AI functionalities where it's very easy to use AI and make great recordings up front. That's also easily embedded in the platform. We provide deals and offers, which is a great opportunity also to promote any non-profit organization that you as a hotel are supporting, or think about also skipping housekeeping, so that the hotels know it before this arrival. Model is very scalable and profitable. Now, from an investment for hotels, there's a one-time activation fee that hotels are paying us of €499, and then there's a monthly subscription model at $2.50. Now, hotels, they can embrace very different strategies to boost their return on investment. Obviously, think about monetizing the individual on individual room level through the attribute-based selling principle. Of course, upselling towards higher categories, but also think out of the box and giving it away for your most loyal customers, the ones that have booked direct, or if you have a loyalty scheme in place, where we see with our current portfolios that if you're, for example, using it to drive the direct booking conversion and you're offering it free of charge, over 70% of the hotel guests where you're giving the opportunity will go ahead and select their specific room. If you make it a paid room selection functionality, then it's very similar towards the airline industry. Over there is 32% of passengers that pay to select their specific seat. We are seeing conversions at this moment until 31%. How does the platform actually work? We focus on the real-time and two-way integration with the property management system. So currently we have 5 PMS integrations live, making sure that the whole process is fully automated. We have our interactive floor plans with, of course, rich room content. We provide also very interesting data-driven analytics so that hotels can optimize their room inventory and pricing accordingly as well. Now, if you look at the team, so of course, I'm not doing this alone. I have my founding team, apart from myself, Jeroen, who has over 20 years of experience within revenue management and management strategies.
Okay,
Background.
Roland, we're going to have to stop you there. Sorry,
but sorry. Okay. Yeah.
We'll bring up the judges. You can talk a little bit more about the team while you're answering questions, I'm sure. So thanks, Roland. We'll kick off with a question from Bobby. Bobby, would you like to start us off?
Yes, sure. One question. So you provide all the specification to the hotels, and they are in charge of providing the image, correct? Or do you
Yes.
manage this for them? So they need to do it.
Well, it's both sided. So if we look at the independent and small hotel groups, I mean, we have the platform and they manage everything themselves. If you look at the mid-scale and big chains, in most cases, they have a separate platform in place where they manage all the content in one place. And then we can work with APIs to retrieve the data from those platforms.
And one follow-on question, which segment of hotel are you targeting? 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars?
Currently, we have multiple segments already. So we have the boutique hotels, we have luxury resort properties, we have business properties of 3 stars and above as well. The great thing is with room selection, depending on the strategy, it works for all the segments. But if you look at our ideal customer profile at this stage, we focus on the independent hotels and the small hotel groups, which is more from a sales perspective. That's our main objective at this moment.
Okay, who'd like to ask the next question, Karen or Min?
I have 2 questions actually. So one is regarding alternative solutions on the market, competing solutions on the market. Do you see any? And how do you differentiate yourself from them?
Yeah, sure. So for example, one of our competitors is a company called Hotelverse. However, they focus very much on creating the digital twin and that initial booking stage, so, where you can play around with the whole visualization. In our opinion, we find it crucial that for hotels, whenever a hotel guest or a potential guest arrives on your direct website, there's one thing important is that you convert, that you make the booking and that you make that process as seamless as possible. We also focus a little bit on the increase in direct booking conversion, but just by mentioning that unique offering of room selection towards the guest so that they know from, hey, if I book direct, I will be able to select my room prior to arrival. Then you have other platforms like, for example, an Aeroguest, who is also offering room selection, but their main focus is on boosting their overall guest app, where room selection is a potential opportunity during the check-in stage. And you have companies like Hilton, for example, who is offering room selection already for years, but only towards their loyalty membership schemes.
If Karen has another question, maybe I'll let you go.
Are we up on time?
Karen, just a quick one.
Okay, yeah. So I guess what I'm looking at here is that what about for the hotels that have their own mobile app already? Is the expectation that you would integrate with those?
Exactly. So that's also what we are doing today. So we have multiple partnerships already in place, also with mobile apps. And the only thing what they need to do is actually provide our unique URL behind the button in their app. Because we have that two-way integration with the PMSs, that's the only thing what they need to do, and everything starts working. So it's very easily embedded into the mobile app, or if it's, for example, a loyalty scheme for specific hotels, for example, it's also exactly the same principle.
Right, thanks very much, Roland. Thanks, judges. Please submit your scores, and we'll bring up our next presenter, a Scaleup from Poland, Kasia Pankowska from Hotel Treats will be presenting for us next. Hi, Kasia.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We're
Right,
happy
let me
to
just
have you. Yeah, please bring up your presentation, and then we will put time on the clock, 5 minutes, and you can begin, and we'll start bringing down the clock.
Fantastic. I think we're good to go. Right. So thanks for having me. I'm very happy with all the presentations so far here, and I'm very happy that we've heard about so many cool new solutions for guests and tourists. Now we'll talk about something completely different. So in fact, I'm going to share with you why to make bigger profits, hotels need to look beyond guests. So about 7 years ago, before starting Hotel Treats, I used to work for a very successful cybersecurity company, and my work involved a lot of travel as well across Europe. Now, that often included staying in fairly swanky hotels. And at the time, I knew that these hotels obviously have beautiful spas. And hold on for a second, I think I'm not actually sharing my slides with you. There we go, right. So at the time, I knew that all of these hotels have amazing spas and pools and restaurants, but I was always too busy to actually use them. So because I was either working or out with my team or sightseeing, it seemed I wasn't the only one in that situation. And I saw that other guests also don't seem to be that interested in all of those swanky facilities. And in the end, it turned out that typically they were awfully quiet, costing the hotels quite a lot of money to maintain, but not actually adding value to their revenues. At the same time, obviously, it's clear that in cities like London, Madrid, Paris, or Rome, there are plenty of affluent local residents who actually would love nothing more than to be able to access the hotels, spas, and have the Sunday brunch, have the afternoon tea, all of those lovely experiences. The problem is that very often those local residents feel that they are not welcome to do so unless they spend the night at the hotel. At that point, I decided to quit my very cushy job and create Hotel Treats to try and open the doors of luxury hotels to local residents. We do that in two ways. So first of all, we have a SaaS arm of the business where we create online shops for hotels to sell their experiences and gift vouchers on their own websites. So this is a direct channel for them. Which is created specifically for multi-property brands or multi-property chains with a truly global reach, working across various payment gateways, currencies, and languages. You can see here a few of our customers, and I'm very happy to say, for example, we have a global deal under which we are the exclusive e-commerce providers for NH hotels, including their Anantara brand, and also for all of Iberostar globally. On top of that, we also operate our own marketplace, which is called hoteltrees.com, and it's currently selling 2,000 experiences from 5-star hotels across 14 countries, and we now have about 650 hotels onboarded to that platform. They only are 5 or 4-star hotels, only the top 4-star hotels, really. We wanted the clue to be in the name, so the experiences we want to offer really need to be treats. So we only work with the nicer kind of brands there. Now, the hotels that we work with, they love us for a couple of reasons. So first, we bring them the big bucks. So as you can see here, we've added over 17 million in ancillary revenues so far to our customers. Interestingly, last year, one product that we sell, our best seller, which is a brunch, actually added $250,000 to the hotel we work with in just 1 year. Also, the hotels begin to really see the benefits of the long term of basically turning the local residents into fans. The local residents have the huge benefit of obviously being on site and being local for a vast majority of the year for the lifetime. So they are very easily turned into recurring customers. And local residents love us because we provide Instagram-worthy experiences, and we are perfect for corporate and gifting that they have to do. In terms of numbers, we've had amazing growth. We're now at 5.5 million GMV per year. We've never had to raise any funding, and we are self-funding a growth that is now at 48% year on year. This is done by a team of 12 people at the moment, who you can see here and who have been with the company pretty much from, a lot of them, pretty much from the beginning. Next year, we've got plans for geographical expansion and also working with a couple of new partners to onboard new RVS much quicker. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Cassia. Right on time. Bobby, would you like to ask the first question?
Yes. Cassia, very interesting. I totally believe that there is a big market, especially for local travelers, but I have a big doubt about, and sorry to be very straightforward, about the fact that beyond spa, you can sell more. I always, and probably you can entertain us, like, in terms of, like, split, the spa, how much it represents in terms of sales, 90%?
You know what, actually, our bestseller is typically spa and brunch. So we merge spa with F&B, and that's probably only about 40% of our revenue. We actually have a huge, the proportion is quite big when it comes to pool day passes. So we operate quite a bit in Spain, Portugal, and Italy, which are obviously quite, holiday destinations, but that means they've got amazing pools that can be used by locals as well. So in the summer, that's majority of our revenue. But actually, when you look at it across the whole year, when you look at the value of transactions that we process, the highest netting one for us is actually romantic getaways, which actually do include a stay in the hotel, but also include a massage, a bottle of champagne in the room, balloons, all of the additional bits that you can imagine for a romantic getaway, but staying locally in your city, right? So it's obviously using the facilities of a hotel nearby.
Min, Karen?
Thank you. And how,
Go ahead.
just one last question, sorry, just one last one. How do you differentiate from competitors like Resort Pass or Seedup or,
Yeah. Resort Pass is actually quite similar, but when you look at them, I think the SaaS offering that they've got is not as robust as ours. So we genuinely do work with brands globally and across different currencies, different payment gateways. Resort Pass is they just don't have that part of the business as built up as we do. And the other competitors are, for example, Aladinia, Scaleup, some gifting platforms, Buy a Gift in the UK, that would be the one, for example. But we are specifically focusing on 5-star hotels only. So we don't do the, parachute jumps and those kind of experiences. It's purely treats from hotels.
Okay, go ahead, Karen.
I think it's genius, to be honest with you. I think it's wonderful. I wasn't aware of the competitors. So, but the one thing, my question is, though, is, what is the targets now to go after? I know you say like 4- and 5-star hotels, you've got 2,000 on there so far. 2,000 is not many of how many is out there. So how do you scale this up? Because I'm assuming you just need an intense sales team. But is that how it's done, basically?
So you know what, we're very strategic about the locations that we go after. So for example, now I'll let you in on a secret. The next one is going to be UAE, because we figured that's a location where there's plenty of beautiful hotels and plenty of affluent people, residents who have absolutely nothing better to do with their time than to enjoy a brunch or a spa treatment or a pool day pass. So we're very strategic about picking out niches that we want to go after. We start by onboarding the top 3-5 hotels in those areas, and then the others follow because they really have no choice. They don't want to not be on the platform if their competitors are.
Min, would you like to ask a final question?
Yeah. So what's the breakdown of your customer between locals and travelers?
Yeah, 15% are travelers, 85% are locals. Genuinely, we see that in analytics. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Kimberly, you're on mute.
There we go. Thank you. So that wraps our Europe session. We've had a great session. We've seen an integrated tax system management platform, a travel API marketplace, an API code generator, a platform for room selection, and another innovative idea to maximize value for hotel facilities at luxury hotels. Thanks again to Karen Hutchings from Cobb and Hutch Consulting, Min Liu from Kanban Partners, Bobby Demery from Roche Ventures, and Adi Kawadio, who was working behind the scenes to do some scoring for us. So thank you all of our judges.